Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Climb. I'm Lisa,
I am Jeremy.
and today we're talking about marriage
Mm-hmm.
and lots of marriage things. This is kind of a spur of the moment podcast topic.
Well, we're trying to have the littlest one, Ezekiel, come on here to talk about his diabetes, and but
He backed out last minute, so
yeah,
we're winging it. We want to get
yeah.
one out for you guys, so
yeah, we have some topics to talk about. So this one, we're talking about this marriage and
we're
problems.
pretty well versed in this one, so
Yeah,
talk about it. So yeah, just I don't know if I'd call it marriage advice, more like our experience. And again, everyone's marriage is different. Everyone's experience is different. So this is just our opinion and our experience.
Yeah.
So, all right. So some questions, I guess, like what things do you and I do together as a couple to kind of like what bonds us together, I guess, in your opinion?
Well, we like doing things outside, and I really like that, and you do too. We're doing things outside and kind of walk or hike and or almost everything outside. We love doing that.
Yeah, even if it's just sitting out on the deck, like earlier today, just sitting out on the deck. Well, you were inside, but working on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything outdoors. And I think what's kind of funny is we share a few things in common, but our personalities, I feel like, are complete opposite, kind of. Like we're more opposite than we are alike.
Yeah, maybe.
In our personalities.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both like adventure. We love anything outdoors. And we each have our own side hobbies, but anything that you're up for, I'm usually up for too. It's like, hey, let's just go on a hike, a walk. Like yesterday, we went and took the family and hiked Tubbs Hill and walked around downtown Coeur d'Alene. So that was really fun.
Yeah. Beautiful weather yesterday. Today too.
So pretty yesterday. Yeah, today. You should open up the curtain. Today it's really pretty too. But so yeah, just trying to do things together as a family. I think where our bond is, our religious beliefs. We're both Christians. We both have that same background, mindset. So I guess maybe that we can jump into like, why is God our foundation? Like why? And in your opinion, you go first.
Yeah. Well, before our marriage too, I'm dealing with my heart problems, and God brought me through it, and keep me alive. And I'm so grateful. I'm still here, and I've met you, and the Bible talk about a lot of marriage, in the Bible a lot, and my parents are still married.
Mine too.
Yeah. So, well, how many years you're married? Your parents are married?
My parents are maybe. Their anniversary is this month, April 25th, and I want to say maybe 38, 39 years.
I think my parents over 40 years.
Yeah.
Still marriage, and they're still married, but and I look at them and really value their marriage and my parents' marriage, and I try to do it for me and you. I'm lost. Sorry, I'm lost so much.
Can I cut in?
Yeah, sure.
Say my parents, they had their struggles early on in their marriage. And I think when I was like third grade, they became saved. And so ever since then, I've grown up in like a Christian home and always wanted that for my kids. And it's not that being a Christian makes life easier in a sense. Like it doesn't. It doesn't mean you're not going to have struggles or failures.
Yeah,
like, we are all human.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just about, with God as our foundation, we have that to fall back on. So we're trying to live like Christ. That's kind of the motive, the whole point of being a Christian and being on this earth is to be Christ-like.
Mhm.
We will never attain that. That's impossible. But, what's wrong with trying to do good? What's wrong with trying to be a better person? Nothing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yet Christians receive so much flack for just trying to live right, trying to live godly lives.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of that is because people do idolize other people. And
Yeah.
like we just said, we're human. You end up failing. And if you look to other people for that, you're always going to be disappointed.
Mhm.
That's why God, the perfect creator, is the only one that we should be idolizing.
Yeah.
So yeah, having God as our foundation has made the hard times easier, but they don't make the hard times go away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Everybody has their own hard times
mhm.
in marriage. Everybody has their own struggles or hard times.
Yeah.
But it's how you deal with it. I think it's different with in Christian versus not Christians.
Mhm.
How they deal with it, and we see it in our marriage too.
Well, yeah, we've definitely gone through a period of time where like we are believers, but there are times where maybe our relationship with God isn't that strong.
Mhm.
And we're maybe just kind of falling into patterns or habits that we shouldn't be, or that we know don't benefit us.
Mhm.
And that leads to hard times. And I realize like maybe that's when we're fighting more, or, we're just not on the same page.
Yeah.
We need that refresh and to really get back to what matters. And there are lots of people out there that I know, family even, that have great marriages that are not Christians,
Mhm.
or that maybe they are Christians, but maybe not walking that life per
Yeah.
se.
Mhm.
It's not to say that just because you're not a Christian, you can't have a good marriage.
Yeah.
But what matters is the end game, the eternity. Where are you going at the end
Mhm.
of all this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what legacy are you leaving for your children?
Mhm.
So I definitely want, my kids to grow up knowing who God is. And I think that's so important. And, a healthy marriage, I want them to have that model. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of, what we're trying to do. And they definitely are going to see that from you as, a stepfather.
Yeah. And they're the only dad with them.
Yeah.
Their other dad is in prison,
But they see you being kind to me and
yeah.
speaking
Yeah.
nice to me, and you're soft spoken, and there's, I don't know, you have like a very even keeled temper. So
Yeah.
they're not seeing you violent in any way, or
No.
chairs are uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, the kids, they watch you everything you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know they're watching you, but they are.
Yeah, like there's
So-
times we've had conversations and we think nothing bad or inappropriate, but we'll just be talking, and then from across the room, Ezekiel like chimes in and answers or says something, and we
Yeah.
just look at each other like, "You're listening?
You're listening?
Like you're
Yeah.
playing Legos or you're playing a video game. How do you hear that?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. So they're listening. So we're
Mhm.
trying to show them good example to them in our relationship with husband and wife, so they can
Mhm.
see it. And we just talked about Ezekiel recently about show respect to girls, and sometimes the girls will ignore you for him, and I tell him, well, yeah, but show them respect. You're a guy, so show them
Be
respect.
nice.
And so he'll hopefully understand that,
Mhm.
and he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also one thing about like, we talked about protecting our marriage, and what does that look like? So, most couples, I think, that are Christians and trying to live a certain way are going to have boundaries in their marriage.
Mhm.
And I know that there's people out there that say that that's controlling, that boundaries are about control. But It's about respect when you think about
Yeah.
it. I don't control Jeremy. I don't control what he says or does. And same goes for me.
Yep.
Like, we are our own person, but together we are one as we are married. So kind of with boundaries, like, I think it's just kind of known that, like, I would never be purposely somewhere with another man, just he and I. One, that would just make me feel uncomfortable as it is. And two, how would that look like to other people who saw us? Thirdly, you, like, how would that make Jeremy feel? Just kind of what does that do for a marriage, especially if it's somebody that you're attracted to?
Yeah.
Like, you can't help who you're attracted to, but you can help how you act and what you do about that. So, yeah, just the common boundaries of being respectful and living your life as if you don't know who's watching you, or what if someone was watching you? Would you have anything to be ashamed of?
Yeah. So you love your husband or your wife. So when you want to show them that, and now, so you're talking about your boundaries. You good for you, and also your spouse. But you show them to respect them, and you show them love. So good practices for you to practice their boundaries for the other person.
And it just builds trust between the two.
Yeah.
Even if trust was never broken, it's just still such a respectful thing to do.
Yeah.
And like, there are times where everyone's going to be tempted in some form or another. And so if you don't know where you stand with that, if you've never said, oh gosh, like, I don't, what am I going to do in this situation? I've never been here before. But if you already have that in place, like, this is something that I'm going to put my foot down and say no to, or, this is my escape. I can leave the situation. You have to kind of think about that stuff beforehand, so you're not caught in the moment of, well, crap, now what? And so that's why it's good to talk about those boundaries with your spouse beforehand. Like, while you're dating even, and just like, hey, this is what we consider crossing the line. This is acceptable. This isn't.
And you practice them. So your spouse, they see it, and wow, good that, like,
actions and words match,
yeah,
right?
Right.
Yeah. But what else?
You want to talk about the discipline a little bit?
Oh yeah, disciplining the kids. What does that look like? How do we discipline our kids?
Yeah, and so I'm a step parent, and she's their birth parent. So a little different role, but it's kind of the same thing. But her and me, we can discipline them, but try to always show them love first. Like, I want to discipline you but I love you.
Yeah.
And it's not like convicting fear or insult fear,
shame.
Yeah. So we encourage, discipline them to show them we love you and try to help you out, and try to you tell them that too. So they do something's wrong. It's me and me, just me and the boys. I can discipline them, but it's me and Lisa together with the boys. Most of the time I rely on you to discipline them. Yeah, if you need my help, I can do that. But I'm not overstepping my boundaries. I can discipline them, but if you're with me,
yeah, kind
I
of take
refer
over.
to you. Yeah.
Well, I think your loud booming voice kind of does enough. Like, your voice is so deep and just like, oh.
Yeah.
You say boys, they're like, no. But all three boys are so different, so they all require different discipline. And as I get older too, it's like when Corbin, my oldest, when he was younger, he got spanked. He got put in timeout And Isaiah, the middle child, you'd just say boo to him and he'd cry.
Yeah.
So all you had to do, like he rarely got spanked
Yep.
because just that voice change, we're putting him in timeout or talking to him, and he'd cry and he'd feel sorry, and
Mhm.
yeah, that's all it took for him. And Ezekiel, he got beat.
He's like stubborn, but he's really funny. But
he's just
he's different.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes, like a lot of times actually, where I'm trying to discipline him and he says something to me. Oh, like for instance, this is funny. We grounded him for something. This was like 2 years ago. And then I was like, the next day, all right, Ezekiel, I was like, I got to go to the store to get some stuff for dinner. Will you come help me? And without I think he was like playing Legos, and he like doesn't even look up and says, he's like, I can't go anywhere. I'm grounded, remember? And just like, he's like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I had to like turn around.
Yeah.
I was like laughing. And he's like, your own words used against you, Mom.
Yeah.
Like he's just
he do a lot.
sick.
Yeah.
But that's how I was too. And am. I still am like that. So anyway, we do, well, not now because they're too old to be spanked, but I did spank the kids, me and their dad. Like they were spanked. But yeah, now it's about just kind of.
And now we just ground them.
Right.
Like,
You're grounded.
No TV or no video games or staying home or, yeah. But,
it's more now about like, kind of like, think about what you did. Think about how this is, like where this is getting you. Is this productive? You keep doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
What are you learning? But yeah, come at it with love and biblical understanding. And I think like I was spanked as a child. You were spanked.
Yeah, a lot.
You grew up in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Beat with the belt, the spoons.
Parents, like, they bought their own, they made it. Like
they made
thick spoon, like this thick and like this long little handle. Man, it hurt. But we learned.
That's funny. I just remember the belt.
Oh yeah.
I remember the sound of that thing whipping out of my dad's belt loops when he came home from work. So yeah, we're pretty much on the same page with discipline. I don't think that's too hard where we're disagreeing or fighting about it. So that's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, how do we divide chores? Kind of what does that look like at home? Believe it or not, I do have a favorite chore. Like there is something I really like to do. And then it's the one chore you hate.
I don't know. Tell them.
Dishes.
Yeah.
I love doing dishes. Last night we didn't do them right after dinner because we were kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
But usually every night after dinner, I have to clean my kitchen. I have to have it clean. So in the morning when I wake up and my coffee's brewing, and I can walk into my kitchen and be like, look how clean this is. It just puts me in a good mood.
I really appreciate it if you do that. Like,
it's stressful otherwise.
Yeah. I really appreciate that a lot.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. And also I'm every household chores, but I can do laundry. Like I'm not enjoying that, but I know it needs to be done, and I do laundry.
Well, and like when I'm at work, I can't, switch laundry, and if you're here, you can do that. So you've just kind of taken that on.
Yeah.
And we don't really have rules about who takes the garbage out. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's the boys. And their chores are clean their rooms, but we need to get more. If we had like a set cleaning schedule, I think it'd be better, like a chore list, which we don't really have.
Yeah. My parents had that chore list for me and my brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest one of 6 kids, my family. And but so my parents, they make a little chore list, and we put everybody's names up. My chores are this, and my brother Josh, his chores are like this, and so forth down. And so every day we know our chores are, and we get it done. But,
Mm-hmm. Like sometimes Ezekiel will help cook, which is really nice.
yeah,
He loves to
he's
do
really
that.
good, really good
He
cooker.
is.
But
Or hey, set the table. Their homework is obviously something that comes first too.
mhm.
But they're pretty good. Corbin and Isaiah are pretty good about helping out. Like, hey, will you get up and go do this for me, please? And they'll do it.
Oh, yeah, Corbin and Isaiah.
Isaiah, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
said.
Mhm.
I did not say Ezekiel.
Yeah. Man, the
Sometimes.
hard
Not really.
time for listening.
Yeah.
Every time I tell them, multiple times I'd ask them to do that.
Yeah.
Not done yet. So it
Yeah.
just,
But I know, like, as a kid or even as an adult, you're into something and you don't want to stop doing that. You're so focused. So
yeah,
we even
no.
try to, like, all right, in 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you to shut this off or to stop. So find a
Mhm.
stopping point, save your game, or, like on the weekends with bedtime. It's like 10 o'clock, and I'll say, hey, in 30 more minutes, we're going to bed. It's a good enough
Yeah.
time to let them know it's
Mhm.
coming. So yeah, let's see what else. What does our home life routine look like?
Now it's so the boys are in school, but we go wake up and we get them ready for school, but they're pretty good to get themselves ready for school.
Mm-hmm.
But we get up and make some breakfast and
They eat breakfast at school, so they're
yeah,
up
yeah.
at like 6:15 or like 6:10.
Hmm.
They leave the house at 6:35 to get on the bus.
Yeah.
So after
So
that, yeah.
we're up for them too, and
Mm-hmm.
we eat breakfast around that time, and so we're home, just me and her, and we eat breakfast together and read our Bibles together too. Really, it's really I like that a lot.
Like we read them separately but together.
Yeah, right.
So,
Some people do read it together,
mhm.
but we read different passages, and but uh, yeah. So
And I pray with the boys before they leave
yep.
for school every
Mhm.
day. Yeah, so we spend the morning together with our coffee, breakfast, spend our time with God.
Mhm.
And I noticed too, starting the day off with God just sets you up for a good day.
Yeah.
And even if you do end up having a bad day, you can fall back on God and you learn something from it. There's always like some lesson. So,
Yeah, it start off good, and
mhm.
that sometimes a good day, sometimes bad day, or you're messed up, or really hard day, or but next day you'll start over.
New day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you do the same thing every morning, spend time with God. Or and some people they um, do devotions different times,
Mm-hmm.
and some people like do it late at night or at midday. You can choose, but for us, we like doing it in the morning before the day gets
Yeah.
started.
I go to work at 8, sometimes a little bit earlier if I want. So it gives us a good hour and a half
Yeah.
to wake up and clean the house if we need to, and yeah, spend time with God and each other.
Hmm.
And then in the evening, so when the boys get home from school, um, depending, I guess, on the workload, they don't usually have a lot of homework. Maybe they'll have a snack and play for a little bit
Hmm.
and then do homework. Usually it's homework right away, though, just so it's
Yeah.
done.
Hmm.
We always eat dinner as a family, which I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I love to cook. And so cooking for my family is just, it's fun for me and it's a blessing. And I love to do that. And so, yeah, we all sit around, we all have our spot at the table.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
pray, we eat, talk about the boys' day, ask them, what they learned, how they did. Some nights we'll do game nights.
Yeah,
We
we
just
just play
Clue.
the Clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recently also the Catan. And
Not Catan,
yeah.
Tiffany and Jared. Just kidding.
Yeah, my mother, my sister, and my brother-in-law. Yeah,
It's all about how you first hear it. Some hear it Catan, some hear it
well,
Catan.
I hear both, but it's
I've only heard Catan.
oh
If you're listening and you do play the game and you listen to the end of this, right if you or like comment, tell me if you say it
yeah, like
Catan or Catan.
yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, like to do game nights, sometimes movie nights once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I think is so cool that I don't even think we've discussed this, it just happened this way, but like at the end of the day, when I come home from work, our phones are pretty much put up. Unless we're
Mhm.
working, our phones are charging in our bedrooms,
Mhm.
and we just enjoy each other's company, whether it's, I don't know, doing some work together, doing this together.
Sometimes we do some work on the computer.
But I feel like we're
yeah.
like together. Like if we're together, we're working together
Yeah.
or enjoying life together, doing something. But it's never both of us just on our phones for hours.
Yeah. No.
Side by side. Never, ever.
Never.
And I love that. I love that I feel like I have your attention, that if I need to ask you something, you're just like, yeah, what's up? And you're right there. And oh, it's just respectful. And especially in today's age where everyone's glued to their phones, it's pretty nice. I don't really have to worry about that.
And most of the time, the boys around us too, they're playing their video games or something else, making something with Legos, but they're around us too. We like having them close.
Yeah. And so if they want to show us something, like Ezekiel's always building something new.
Yeah.
Like right now he has a, how do you say it? Is it terrarium?
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
So, yeah.
Oh, if I'm right in saying that. Yeah. He's got bugs in there.
Yeah.
Grass, sticks.
Yeah. Yesterday he got it. He made one little jar, and I tell him, so I'll get some hammers, and we go in the backyard and we find some bugs. We find spiders and millipedes and roly-polies, and it's a lot of insects.
You both like bugs. So that's perfect.
Yeah, so we're a good time with him, and he's pretty excited about that.
Well, and then I think it was Friday. We had an appointment for Isaiah. I stayed home from work. It was just kind of like a rough day with diabetes stuff, and I was just not having a good day. So I stayed home from work and tried to get out in the sun. And we ended up going out and cleaning out the camper. So that was nice. Like washed all the bedding in there, cleaned everything, and
washed my truck.
Yeah, and the boys went outside in the backyard, and we all just kind of played and hung out.
Yeah.
They were in the hammock. Ezekiel was building something. I don't know. He's like sawing boards.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was going to make a swing or something, but
or bench.
Made a fire out there in our backyard for a little bit. So we're always pretty much doing things as a family. And then yesterday, like I said, we went to Coeur d'Alene, went hiking, walked around the shops, got ice cream, hung out. But I enjoy that.
Yeah. Me too.
And the boys are old enough to where if we just want to go hiking, we can, or go for a walk around our block, we will. But most of the time, it's like family things.
And after that, every night before they go to bed, we gather them together with us. We pray and just good prayer with the boys, and they go to their bedrooms and go to sleep.
Yep.
And me and her, we're before we go to bed, for me and her, we pray like together. Pretty short prayer, sometimes longer, but
because we're really tired at that point.
Yeah, so it's long good day and productive day, and so thank God for
everything.
Yeah, and it's
and also, like, so Sundays, today is Sunday. We went to church today. Tuesdays, we host our own life group at our home. We've been doing that now for this will be week 6.
Oh, yeah.
I think 6 weeks. And that's going pretty good. We really like that.
Yeah.
And then Thursdays, sometimes on Wednesdays, the boys go to youth group, but we do live about like 20, 25 minutes away from our church. And it's just kind of sometimes a long week and we don't feel like driving or we're tired. But sometimes Wednesday's youth group and Thursdays we go to our life group that we've been going to for over 4 years.
Oh, 3 years. Or maybe, maybe 4.
2019.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, that flew by.
Yeah.
So always trying to, we have God in our lives most of the week.
Mhm.
And then also like knowing that we have these expectations or like, hey, we're leading life group, we also need to live what we're preaching. And we're not necessarily preaching, I guess, but what we're discussing in our group. But I just would hate to feel like a total hypocrite, talking to the group about something that I don't know, failing at. But again, we are human and we mess up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to happen. But having that standard to live up to it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps us in check. Let's see, what else do we have here? Trying to wrap this one up and be quick.
It's so you were married before and I'm not.
I wasn't.
And so it's newer for me, but every marriage is different. But I'm still learning. Well, I'll still learning until my lifetime is over about you and our marriage, and try to have your mindset. You're always learning, and so you're not perfect. You're just human, but just continue always learning
and having grace. That is the biggest thing. And I think one of the things I've learned too is like when we argue about something, showing you the grace that God shows me when I mess up, and always remembering that. Now, when you're in the heat of the moment, of course, it's not easy to calm down and to think rationally. But we try to take every thought captive. So like when I'm having some triggering thought in my head or something horrible, I want to stop and pray about it. And I talk to myself in my mind a lot, like, okay, if I say this, how is that going to affect the relationship? What is that going to do to our marriage? What's that going to do to our conversation? Is that going to benefit us or break us apart, cause tension? And sometimes I don't always follow the voice in my head that tells me to do the right thing. But like you said, it's a learning process. And one thing too that I want to say, somebody told me years ago when I was previously married that they thought that me and my ex and our family, that we had the perfect marriage and that we looked like the perfect little family. And I was like, really? Never was it ever my intention to try to like pretend to be that, because I am horrible at lying and faking things. Like I am who I am, and you can see my emotions on my face. But I mean, no one's going to really show their bad side in public. No one wants to do that. But do remember this whole social media thing. What I think just so many people fall into that trap of, oh, they're so perfect, or look at their life, it's so great. And they're comparing, and it is robbing you of your joy. Like, stop doing that if you're doing that.
Yeah. Everybody has their own problems and struggles. Everybody.
And you're going to show people the good side on social media. Like, you're not going to post the bad stuff or the crap. You're going to post happy times. And while maybe in that moment it was perfect and it was a great time, it could be worse 5 minutes later. You don't know.
Yeah.
And just like on that documentary we were watching last night, that murder case, they were showing each other their good side, and everyone thought that they were perfect and happy. And you just don't know. You never know. And I think for me, most of the people that I've seen obsessively talking about their relationship or like really, oh my gosh, mushy gushy, like constantly on social media are the ones that have the hardest problems, because
Mm.
then they're divorced or then they're broke up, or it's like, oh, but just 5 minutes ago you said you were so madly
Yeah.
in love with them. Like,
Yeah.
what happened? So
Mhm.
keep that in mind.
Mhm.
Everyone has problems.
Yeah.
So just
So
focus on your own.
yeah, you're not alone. Everybody
Yeah.
has their own problems, but it is so it not also not compare
Hmm.
to our your marriage to ours or other people.
Yeah.
Um, but also I want to talk about your thinking. Uh, so some people have a negative thinking, and some people have a lot of positive thinking. And um, I want to tell you that you can try this too. Um, you think you think like a negative thinking. You think about a lot of negative things that happen to you or somewhere or in the world.
Hmm.
You see yourself really critical or scared or in fear or worried. Um, think about negative things happen to the world and you, and stop thinking stop
Hmm.
thinking that way. Change your mindset to positive things, good things, and you feel yourself, um, you feel lighter or more joyful, and you're happy to be alive that day.
Hmm.
Um, and everybody has their own problems. But stop thinking about your own problems. You can address them,
Deal with them.
yeah, deal with them,
Hmm.
and to figure out how to do that. But after they're done, move on.
The
And
wallowing in the self-pity thing,
yeah, I
or
know.
just that. And I've had moments like that where maybe at the time I didn't feel like it was self-pity. It was like something so hard for me to go through. Um I mean, everyone just deals with it differently, but yeah, you have to try to find the good in it.
Yeah.
And the thing is about, being a Christian, we know that these hard times, these burdens we have, we are to give them to God.
Hmm.
Like, they were not
Hmm.
meant for us to carry. So every morning too, when I'm driving to work, one of the things I pray about is that I just say, God, I surrender my day to you. I surrender my
Hmm.
kids and my husband. And that is so freeing for me to know that what happens to them or what they go through, it's out of my control, my hands, but I know that they're in good hands. Like, I know God will take care of them.
Hmm.
And it's something that
Yeah.
I don't have to stress about.
Yeah.
Like, I know everything's going to be okay. Um but yeah, that whole like positive thinking. And I honestly think by nature I am more of a pessimist than an optimist. Um and that just might be to the way I grew up, maybe mistrusting a lot of people, and I'm just kind of probably more of that skeptic. Like,
Hmm.
I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm also not naive to where I'm just going to believe everything somebody says.
Yeah.
So I'm more like, I listen, I kind of watch their body language, their actions, like, and I've had, conversations with people where they've told me one thing and then maybe they forgot that they told me that piece.
Hmm.
And maybe like months down the road, they tell me something completely different that's contradicting.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe you. There's I'm kind of going off on a trail here,
Yeah.
but
It's everybody their own bottle, but
yeah.
try to make yourself think about good things, positive things,
Hmm.
and um, you see yourself will change. And yeah, you try it.
Well, and all the things that we've gone through as a couple and individually, you know, people have said to me, like, you're so strong. Like, I can't believe if I went through that, I would be a complete wreck. And pretty much when things happen to me, like at home is where I might be more stressed.
Mhm.
But in front of people, it's not that I'm putting on a show. I try to have a positive attitude about it. Like, okay, well, I guess we're going to Seattle to go to your doctor, or
Yeah. Hmm.
okay, well, I guess Ezekiel has diabetes. Let's get to the hospital. You can't, if I sat and cried about it or sat and really moped about it, I wouldn't be productive in getting the help we need.
Hmm.
So I kind of have to put that aside and take the time to mourn, whatever you need to do. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what?
Well, yeah, I feel the same thing.
Oh,
I never asked God, what happened to me.
why me?
Yeah, it's well, I have a heart transplant or a heart failure, and how I have a stroke too.
Mm-hmm.
I no reason for this, and I never asked God.
Never had that pity on
Yeah,
yourself.
it's well, his all right.
It is what
It's
it is.
yeah. Uh, Sometimes life is beautiful, and sometimes it's hard and
Mm-hmm.
tough, really tough, and try to survive until next morning. Um, I have that, and but just focus. Who is your hope on? Um, our hope is in God, in
Mm-hmm.
God, and you focus on that, and you will help. He will help you to go through that, and your pain, it will pass. Your pain will pass, and so no reason to worry. Why you worry? You can act more more minutes every day with your worry. I can
Yeah.
the reverse.
Yeah.
But
You can't add more time to your life by worrying. It's not
yeah.
gonna.
So try to think about good things, positive things, something things you have in common with each other, your spouse. Um, uh, Focus on that and do that more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Something I was gonna say about that, worrying, trying to be positive. Um, like when I went through all that stuff with Isaiah and Ezekiel, um, being positive, I know, same thing. I didn't ask why him. There were times where I said, I wish it was me. I wish my kids didn't have to go
yeah,
through that,
yeah,
but never why. I kind of looked at it like, okay, well, if it's your will, God, for Isaiah to be born with this, deformed limb and have a prosthetic leg, but maybe it benefits somebody else. Maybe it brings somebody
hmm
else to know you, to know Christ, then it's worth it. It's fine.
hmm
And I think about it could always be worse. Like he's so healthy, he's happy, he can run, he can do everything else. Same with Ezekiel with diabetes.
hmm
We luckily live in a world today where we have these medical advances to help with stroke, heart transplant,
hmm
diabetes, prosthetic limbs.
yeah,
And so it could always be worse. Like my kids are alive. We have a great life.
yeah,
What is there to, why am I going to sit around and cry about it or be depressed about it? For what?
hmm
Like it does nobody any good.
yeah,
And we don't want our kids to sit and feel sorry for themselves either.
hmm
So
yeah,
yeah, definitely trying to be positive in your hard times. And if there's something wrong, fix the problem. If you can fix it, fix it.
hmm
Something's wrong with your attitude, fix it. You
yeah,
always would say that to me, like,
mhm.
check your attitude, Lisa. Because I'd start being sassy. I'm like, oh, all right. And that's one thing. This fun little marriage class we went to, they talked about that. Like your tone is everything.
Mhm.
So watch how you speak to your spouse. I know something I wanted to touch on real quick as far as respect goes with your spouse. Um, I've never wanted to be the wife that bad mouths my husband behind his back. So if you're in a conversation with other women or other men,
Mhm.
always make sure that if everyone else is gossiping about their husband or complaining about him, don't chime in. Like, honestly, how would I feel if Jeremy was sitting right there beside me and I'm just bashing him? Like, so disrespectful and rude.
Yeah.
I would never
Mhm.
want to make you feel like that. And
Mhm.
honestly, half the things that I hear people complain about, I can't complain about with you, which is great. And
Mhm.
just kind of like, well, I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yeah.
Not to say that my husband is this perfect angel, but he's a great guy, and I don't know. But I think that's one thing that a lot of women get trapped into is that gossip session.
Yeah. Right.
Just watch
Yeah.
what you say, and
Yeah.
if the gossip ends with you, let it end with you. Stop
Right.
it right there.
Mhm.
You don't have to keep going on and on about it either.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about everything on the list
Yeah. For now.
for now.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to us again, and we'll record next something new.
Maybe Ezekiel will actually stay down here and
Yeah.
do his
Yeah.
podcast.
Hopefully, he's not happy. Not happy today. I don't know why.
It
but,
was kind of spur of the moment. Like, he'll
Yeah.
come down, but
But
oh well.
mhm.
So yeah, thanks again, you guys, for watching. We appreciate everybody subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so.
Yep.
We have lots of cool things to talk about next, I think, too, with
Yeah. Soon. Yeah.
things under wraps.
Mhm.
So yeah, stay tuned, and we will see you guys later. Have a great week.